Well, welcome to another Sunday sermon epilogue that we're doing in this series in Ezra, in the hope and promise of revival. Traig, what were some of your impressions from yesterday's? We're doing this on Monday. From yesterday's service and the event at the picnic.
Well, the picnic is a wonderful event, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice context for us to be together as a church family. Enjoy the fellowship, and the weather was beautiful and all of that. Yeah.
That's right.
But from the sermon, there were a couple of things that kind of stood out.
Okay.
One is that the interesting strategy that Satan has to be a deceiver.
Yes.
In either case, right? So we can be convinced we're something that we're not.
Yes.
In either direction. We can be convinced that we're saved when we're not.
Yep.
Or he can try and convince us that we're not saved when we are.
Yes.
But his character really shows there as
Yes.
being a deceiver and accuser. Yeah.
Yes, and that reminds me of a comment from a 19th century guy. What a devil he is, right?
Yeah.
And this is something that I was concerned about in the message, because whenever you talk about things that you can prove that you're not a believer and things that prove that you are, there's going to be people of tender conscience who immediately are going to think, oh no, I don't belong to Christ, when in fact they do. And there's other people that are self-satisfied and even in their pride think that because I have prayed a prayer or walked an aisle or made some profession at some point in my life, I'm good to go and I don't have to worry about that anymore. And so that's where I think that little epistle of 1 John is so helpful. I felt one of the most moving things to me was Shelley Junn's testimony, where she made reference to that before she was baptized. Just the idea of thinking through these things, of evidences against and for.
Deconstruction is such a big, hot topic now, too, and you touched upon that yesterday, this idea that people who may have grown up in the church with some profession of faith, at some point in their lives decide that it all needs to come torn down.
Yeah. And, the issue there is that we can't know whether they are saved or not, but we have no proof that they are. And that's why the 1 John 2, they went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have continued with us.
One of the things that's helpful to me, I think, when a person has questions or doubts about their faith, I think we do people a disservice when we suggest that they're not saved if they have questions.
Right.
It's a reasonable thing.
That's true.
To have questions and to want to be more sure, or do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
When we just suggest right off the bat that you must not be saved.
Yes. I also think, on the other side, that we do people a disservice if we're asking them to recall a specific experience. Because there are lots of people that aren't Christians that can recall a specific experience. And there are a lot of people who are Christians who don't have a specific experience of praying a prayer or meeting with someone or what have you. And so this is where the scriptures are so helpful, especially 1 John, in thinking those things through. And my goal, my prayer really, as I was thinking about the sermon yesterday, was that I could be used by God for the Holy Spirit to convict those who aren't Christians to come to Christ, and those who are to be assured that they are. And this is, of course, in keeping with Ezra chapter 2, which you noted I moved away fairly quickly because it's 69 verses of a bunch of lists of people. But that section talking about could they prove that they belong to the family of God really is a relevant question that 1 John is wanting to answer for believers today. So, well, hey, I hope you enjoyed this version of the Sunday Sermon Epilogue. And we'll be doing that each Sunday through this series in Ezra. And we'll be looking forward to more as we go along now this coming Sunday to Ezra chapter 3. I'd encourage you to read the chapter ahead of time before the message so that you'll have your heart kind of tuned to some of the themes in the chapter. Until then, bye for now.